So children, now we are going to study about nutrition in plants. The first and the foremost thing that we need to know is, what does the term nutrition mean? Nutrition means anything that pertains to the procurement of food and the utilization of food. Now food, why is it important for all of us? You think we can survive without food? No. Every day your mama tells you, beta khana khao. This is your growing age. Bete khana khao. नहीं तो आप कमज़ोर हो जाओगे. And you need energy to run. You need energy to study. If you will not eat food, how will you do all this? So food is very, very important for us. So the functions of food are, it helps in the growth of the body. It helps to maintain the body. Now in class 6th, we all studied about the components of food, the nutrients, like vitamins, minerals. They are the ones which help to maintain the body. And the deficiency of the vitamins can also cause certain deficiency diseases in our body. So the food is very important for maintaining our body. It gives us energy to do various kinds of work and activities. So all these are possible only if we eat food. Now food, from where do we get food? We all know that food, the main source of food, is the plants. Because it is on these plants that the animals depend. So all those who say, no, we eat eggs and we eat other things also which come from the animals and not from plants, just remember that these animals, they depend upon the plants directly or indirectly. In your class 6th, you studied about the kinds of animals or organisms. And we studied that there are herbivores, there are carnivores, there are omnivores. So all these are the consumers. But which is the producer? The plants are the producers. They are the primary producers. Means they produce the food. They make food. Now how do we know? How do they make the food? They make the food with the help of a process which is known as photosynthesis. Just break the word into two. Photo and synthesis. Photo means light. Synthesis means to make something. So, कुछ बन रहा है लाइट की मदद से. क्या बन रहा है? Food. A very simple way to remember is photosynthesis. Fur. किससे शुरू होते हैं spellings? Fur. The sound is fur. And the food also sounds like fur. So, fur से fur. So, the making of food or the process of making food is known as photosynthesis. Now, we all know that it is only possible in the green plants. Means they have got something in their leaves, that is the green coloring pigment which is known as the chlorophyll. These plants or green plants, they trap the sunlight, sun's energy, which is the ultimate source of energy. So this sunlight is trapped by the chlorophyll, and along with the carbon dioxide which enters the leaves through the stomata, also along with the water and minerals which rises up the roots, passes through the stems, reaches the leaves through pipes, which are the conducting vessels, about which you will be studying in higher classes, that is the xylem. So that is how the water gets transported to the leaves, as a result of which all these combine together and make the process of photosynthesis possible. Now, what is produced as a result of this photosynthesis is a simple carbohydrate, which is glucose. Now, it is not stored in the form of glucose. It gets converted into starch. You remember, children? In the previous class, we had done a test for starch in which we used drops of iodine and it turns blue-black in color, showing the presence of starch. So this glucose gets converted into starch and is stored in the leaves. Now, another very important aspect that we all need to understand is that it is not only that the carbohydrate is being produced, oxygen is also being released. And oxygen is very important for respiration and survival of all living organisms. This oxygen released also helps in the burning or the combustion. Now we need to remember that our survival and the survival of all the organisms, directly or indirectly, is possible only because of these green plants. So depending upon whether an organism is making the food or no, we divide them into the autotrophs and the heterotrophs. Autotrophs are those organisms which make their own food, and heterotrophs are those organisms which depend upon these autotrophs. Now, there are some heterotrophs which depend upon the dead organic matter, for example, fungus. You have seen fungus growing on your bread and all, or on your decaying leather. So, this is a saprophyte. Then is parasitic organisms, or the parasites, or the parasitic nutrition we can say. So these organisms, they will depend upon other living organisms and they harm them in turn. So they are the parasites. But there is another kind of a relationship that is there, that is symbiosis. In this case, one organism is depending upon the other, and that other organism also gives it something in return. It's a give and take kind of a relationship. आप मेरे को कुछ दो और मैं आपको कुछ दूंगी. So this is the kind of relationship which is a mutual relationship, and this is known as symbiosis. A very good example is lichens, in which there is algae and there is a fungus. The fungus gives it moisture which is required by the algae for photosynthesis, and the algae in turn gives food to this fungus which is surviving on it. So this is about the kinds of nutrition that are there. So directly or indirectly, we need to remember that we all are depending on the green plants for our food. You will understand it better once you see the diagram. Now here we see the structure of a green leaf which has got small openings which are known as stomata, which are guarded by these bean-shaped structures which are known as the guard cells. So this is basically the structure of the leaf, the internal structure of the leaf, in which there are the chloroplasts which are having the chlorophyll, which is a green color pigment, due to which the plants are able to do photosynthesis, and these are the openings which are known as the stomata, guarded by means of the guard cells. So now in this diagram, we see that the sunlight or the light energy gets trapped by the chlorophyll in the leaf. And after this, the process of the photosynthesis takes place along with the help of carbon dioxide and water and minerals. So what is produced is the oxygen and the carbohydrates in the form of the glucose. So this is the entire process of the photosynthesis that is clearly seen in this diagram. We also need to understand the equation for the process of the photosynthesis. Here, as it is seen, that the carbon dioxide along with the water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, which is the green color of the leaves, produce a product which is known as a carbohydrate, and oxygen also is released. So this is the equation which you will be writing in case they say give the equation of the process of photosynthesis in plants. I am sure that this diagram would have clarified all your doubts. So what you need to remember is the equation for the process of photosynthesis, and you also need to remember that it is with the help of the carbon dioxide, sunlight, chlorophyll, water that the plants, they make their own food, and this food is very important for survival of all living organisms on earth. So what have we understood from this topic? It is mainly that the green plants are very essential for life on earth. No plants means no life, because we all depend on these plants for our food, for the oxygen content, and this oxygen content is maintained in the atmosphere because the plants, they are taking in carbon dioxide and giving out oxygen, which helps us to respire and to derive energy for doing our day-to-day activities. So children, I'm sure you will hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss on the notifications, and be connected with Rise to Shine with me. Thank you so much, children. Have a good day.